We go back a long way, and you won't remember me, but I was in news in Bangor, Maine, 100 years ago when you were a senator.
Wow.
And
that does go back a long way.
Yeah, not long enough when you were an all-star basketball player, but back when you were a senator, you got one of those resumes that's unbelievable. But the perfect day to have you. I know you only have a few minutes. The book is Blink of an Eye. We've been talking about it all morning already. Because you are the guy. You're the poster child for what's wrong with partisan politics. I mean, you got out of politics frustrated with it. You had a Democrat appoint you as defense secretary. I always tell people this is ruining our country, partisan politics, and I know you agree a little there. Can we touch on that before we get into the book?
Oh, sure. It's very discouraging to see what's taking place now. I think what's happened, we're evolving into a parliamentary system without having a parliamentary system. Namely, you're either in one camp or the other, and you're being punished if you reach across the aisle to say, can't we reach a compromise? The word compromise has become, a four-letter word. And so each side is now pulling in ranks, and the core at the center is being hollowed out. So you have a situation in which neither side has an overwhelming majority, and therefore nothing is going to take place. And that is a prescription for stagnation and for, I think, economic a quagmire, and something that is really not doing service to the American people. But that's where we are. And I'm hoping that this select committee that has been chosen to try to come up with a $1.2 trillion plan in terms of cutting our deficit. And I would go further. I would hope that they would have gone with the much bigger plan that was originally talked about between Speaker Boehner and President Obama. That, to me, really would have sent a signal to the marketplace that we're serious about curtailing our appetite and our spending habits, but that's not what happened. And my only hope now is that the Select Committee will come up with a recommendation that both parties can support, even if reluctantly, that they will agree to do so.
How Senator Kyle and yourself remind me of people who I think do it the right way, and Senator Kyle's not running again, too. Now, your book, you're talking about an explosion that goes off in the country in the aftermath and how people react to it. I got to ask you, as Defense Secretary, and now that you're a little older than I am, you're getting to that reflective age, right? What keeps you awake at night? I mean, what are you afraid of as an American that could happen to us?
Well, this is the nightmare that kept me awake during the time I was at the Pentagon. I'm sure it's something that the President of the United States thinks about quite consistently. He's got an entire national security apparatus that has to worry about this. But it's the most devastating thing that can happen because you take a nuclear bomb and have it explode in an American city. You've got catastrophe writ large. And plus, you then have to see the sequence that follows with calls coming in threatening more bombs going off, with people starting to panic. So you've got all of that to contend with, not to mention how you get relief to the people who have been hit by this terrible weapon. And then the question becomes, well, who did this? How could they have done this? How do we know who has done this? And then what do we do about it? And if it's ambiguous, there's tremendous political pressure building to do something. You can't just sit there and watch this devastation. You must respond. The question is, against whom? And that's the essence of the book in terms of the ambiguity that is involved and the fact that these weapons are proliferating. And more countries trying to get their hands on them, and we're trying to do what we can to stop them, but it may not be enough.
And you obviously got the memos that not many people got with your jobs, your previous jobs. Last question, because I know we're out of time. You had touched on electromagnetic waves and people working on that. Are there people in several countries working on things like weather modification or using electromagnetic waves as weapons and that kind of thing? Is that real?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's no question that every conceivable type of weapon is being examined or explored by various individuals, if not with the support of their government, then certainly with the knowledge. I think that this is inevitable, and EMP, other types of activities, but using electromagnetic waves surely is being considered by certain individuals.
Senator Cohen, thanks for your patience and your service. Blink of an Eye is the book. Go out and buy it. We'll have you on again in the future, and thanks again for your time, sir.
Thanks again. Appreciate it very much.